no, I'll never send. When all habitual dalliance will finally end, then Presonus, my friend and foe, to oblivion you will go, belonging to tomorrow, belonging to tomorrow. Soon I'll make that journey out to Paradise Falls, and on all the stifling lethargy time will now be called. Then Presonus, the snake-eyed schmo, to Gehenna town you will go, belonging to tomorrow, belonging to tomorrow. Then Presonus, bringer of woe, to the darkest darkness you will go, belonging to tomorrow, belonging to tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night Live with me, Jonny Lipsham, over here in Gobridge in Scotland. Hope you guys are doing well and have had a great week. Been a good week here. Been a wet week, but it's been a good week. Got lots done, got lots accomplished. I see my regular crowd is shuffling in. And that's about all I'm going to quote of Billy Joel's Piano Man. Thanks, Kyle, for that. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's not 9 o'clock on a Saturday, but it is midnight here in Gobridge in Scotland. And as you can see from around me and behind me that there are lots of gravestones, and it's not because I'm morbid, it's because here in the UK we are commemorating Remembrance Day. It is Remembrance Sunday today, and it's the day, it's basically the Sunday nearest to November 11th, which is the day on which we commemorate the signing of the enacting of the armistice that ended World War I on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. So That's why I have this as the background instead of the normal mixing console background, which I normally have. So the picture you can see behind me is the Vimy Ridge Cemetery. It's the Canadian sector of the cemetery. So yeah, there are an awful lot of graves in this cemetery. So many graves. It beggars belief when you stand at the entrance to it and you see all of these incredible, beautifully cared for, beautifully tended graves. It's heartbreaking, to be honest. But yes, and this is something I like to do every year. A few years back, we played Nimrod from by Elgar, which got me into an awful lot of trouble with copyright. So, which is why you heard the title track to my 2016 EP belonging to Tomorrow, whilst I was trying to fix my kettle, which, good news is, it's fixed. Not a problem now. But there we go. So, let's see who's here. And the first one in the door was Billy Morgan. Hey, Billy, how you doing? And Paul Morgan, my compatriot, is here as well. Thomas over in the Philippines. John Hawk. Kyle Drajuziak is here, because Kyle is pretty much always here, which is awesome. Don Hamer, my dear friend, I'm so glad to see you. He says, wanted to come in and check things out. Looks like life is treating you well. Yes. It is a phenomenal period in my life personally, and in terms of developmentally for my studio, it's an exciting time as well, because we are now in a permanent space. This is my permanent room, so there will be a studio tour coming up. For those of you that are interested in my studio tours, I've done maybe 3 of them before, so you can go back and check those out and have a look at how my studio used to look maybe 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, this is the final room. This is it. What will change is you can kind of see maybe a little bit of a hint of the acoustic treatment that I brought over from the old house in Edinburgh, where we were renting for 3 years. This is a brand new build house, for those of you that don't know. So this house is literally, we've only been in it for 4 months, and that's when we moved in just shortly after the build of this house was completed. So we're not really allowed to put anything of particular weight on the walls just yet, because we need to allow the house to kind of settle into being lived in, basically. So with that in mind, I've just put up the original acoustic treatment in this room. It does an okay job, but it will be being replaced in probably about 5 or 6 months' time. I'll be getting some permanent installations of acoustic treatment in this room, and I'll actually be having an acoustician check out the room and check out kind of what the room resonances are and standing waves and those kind of things. Just to basically get this room tight as a tick, and then this will be it. It will be a permanent setup, unless the house burns down or gets blown over, or something drastic like that. Or, if somebody accidentally plays a Christa Berg CD in here, then maybe I'll be moving them into a different room, like maybe my daughter's room or something. But there you go. So that kind of deals with that, Don. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's the journey from renting to home ownership has been nothing short of miraculous. So there is a long story to that, which I will tell one day. Who else is here? Let me see. Just Bob is here, one of my faithful, awesome moderators. James John, I can never say your last name. I maybe should just give up and just call you James, but I want to be polite and nice to you. James Giannoni is here, who I've just become friends with on Facebook, which is cool. Bobby Booth is here, so we can get started now. Lowenz is here. Louis Alps Media is here. Louis is awesome. He and I, by the way, not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but he and I have got some cool things planned and in the planning process, which is quite exciting. Tony Stringer is here as well. He says tea time. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see. Tony Stringer is here. Chris from Deer Creek Audio is here as well. He says I came in through the open window. Damn it! Came through the bathroom again. I'm gonna have to hide the step ladders so that you can't get in, Chris. James R is here, Melbourne, Australia. I have relatives in Melbourne, Australia, which is awesome. Deer Creek says, talking to Billy Morgan, probably more like Memorial Day honoring the deceased, unlike veterans. And we actually here in the UK, it's not just about commemorating the deceased of First World War, Second World War, and all wars since then, including current ones that we are involved in, but we commemorate those that survived but have been wounded either internally, mentally, or externally, physically. So, you know, Remembrance Sunday is for as much for them as it is for those that are buried in fields like this one behind me. But let's see. Bops is here as well. Ironweed Studios is here, and I think we've got down to the bottom, which is cool. All right, so Just Bob says bought the Moore. Moore? Never heard of them before. E7 polyphonic guitar synth pedal. Picking it up tomorrow. Looks like really fun pedal. Can't wait to use it. That sounds really interesting, actually. I've been actually on the lookout for a bass synth pedal, actually, for playing bass into a synth. Because, I mean, I play fretless bass, and I just think it'd be quite nice to be able to kind of blend that with a synth sound as well. So I am on the lookout for something like that, and maybe see kind of what kind of interesting sounds I can get that will just create something, you know, new and exciting for my music. Peace Valley Audio is here. Billy Morgan says respect for past and present. Yes, that's exactly what this is all about for me. So, you know, like I said, this show is never ever political. We don't go into politics here, however, and I will not go into politics. I'm not going to get into the politics of whether war is good or war is bad or anything like that. But this is about commemorating people that gave their lives, their limbs, their mental health, and put their lives on hold, past and in the present, so that we could have the freedom to be able to express such things. So, you know, that's what this is all about, for me, anyway, personally. Look at some of the Boss pedals, maybe the SY100. Yeah, Boss pedals are pretty cool, actually. What did I have? Years ago I had a Boss pedal. And I can't remember, it might have been a chorus, actually, which I used on my fretless. But and then I started playing music where I didn't really need a chorus, so I think I gave it away to somebody. Let's see. Mike at Peace Valley Audio says, I love throwing a chorus flange effect on a bass. Yeah, I've done that with a chorus. Kyle asks the first question of the evening. which should be a prompt to everybody to start getting their Studio One questions into the chat, please. That would be awesome if you could do that. If you've got questions, let's get them in there. There is no donate button on the YouTube chat. Yes, you are correct. There isn't. And I put a post up in the community section of this channel to explain why that is. It was a decision I took a good few months ago to basically demonetize my own channel. Normally, you know, you get kind of copyright strikes and those kind of things, or you get a video that gets demonetized and all of that. And I basically decided to take the whole thing out of YouTube's hands and basically say, I'm deliberately demonetizing my own channel. I have no wish to make any money from it any further. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And like I said, I don't want to go into politics about this particularly. It was just a personal decision to do with, you know, the fact that I am a UK citizen, I'm a UK resident, and YouTube maybe a year ago, I think maybe a year ago, announced that they were going to be complying with changes to California state law that basically meant that all content creators who are monetizing their accounts have to give, I think, something in the region of between 20 and 30% of the ad revenue to the US Federal Reserve. And I'm just like, well, I'm not quite sure why I need to pay tax into the United States when I'm not there and I'm not a direct contributor to American society. Now, please bear in mind, I have American family. My sister stays in Chicago, so I have her, and I have other relatives in North Carolina, and I have other relatives in New York and Washington State. So I have plenty of American family who do contribute very well to the United States. And I love the country, I love the people, because most of you guys are Americans. Not all of you are, but a good proportion of my subscribers are Americans, and that's great. I appreciate you guys more than you know. But I don't think I need to pay tax to your Federal Reserve. Really, if I'm going to be paying tax to anybody, it should be here in the UK. So that was kind of what my little argument with YouTube was. And so I therefore decided, okay, I'm going to demonetize my account. It means I no longer make any money directly from YouTube ad revenue. That's okay. Don't mind that too terribly much. However, you will see in the description below that there is a link to my PayPal account. So if you decide you do want to donate, please do hit up my PayPal account. I'd appreciate it greatly. But there is no obligation for you to do so. That's the other reason why I did it. I didn't really want people to feel obligated to hit the super chat button. I know a lot of content creators, that's, you know, kind of, they do that with their audience where, you know, they don't really read out any of the comments in the chat unless you make a super chat donation, and then they'll read what you have to say. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't think that's fair. That, to me, with other content creators, they can do what they like. That's up to them with their channels. But for me, I felt like I would be doing you guys a disservice. I'd be forcing you to pay in essentially a free live stream. I'd be forcing you guys to pay for me to answer your questions. And that kind of, to me, felt like cash for questions. And I don't do that. This show is free. It will always be free. And, you know, this 1 hour per night, one night per week, I should say, I give up for you, to serve you, and to serve the Presonus community at large. I don't get paid for this. Presonus do not pay me to do this. This is something I do on my own time, for my own reasons, basically just as by way of extending support to you guys, users of Studio One, users of Presonus hardware, software. This is me donating my experience to you. So I hope you get what I'm trying to say here, in a kind of messy kind of way. But yeah, this show should be free, and I didn't like the fact that it was not gonna be. So that's kind of where it was for me. But Kyle, that's a really good question. I hope you understand that, and I hope that I've explained that well. If you don't understand it, then please do feel free to email me, johnny@johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and we can discuss it a little bit further if you need to. And that, same goes for anybody else with that kind of a question. Kyle says, no worries, just being sure it's supposed to be that way. Yes. And Chris correctly observes, he says, YouTube squeezes out 30% of non-US YouTubers. That is correct. He says, maybe it's because it's a US-owned company. They want to milk the farm. Yes, I think I know what you mean. But I think if that had actually been their intent all along, they would have complied with Californian state law many years ago and actually made this just kind of a part of how monetizing works from the start. But they didn't. It's something they imposed upon us and said, this is going to change. We are going to take 30% out of your ad revenue to pay our tax bill. And I thought, that's not very fair. It really isn't. They should be paying their own tax on their own income that they make out of, the ad revenue that they sell. But it is what it is. And really, I'm going to end that subject there, to be honest, because I don't want to get into any kind of trouble, really. Peace Valley Audio says, just put an ad blocker on your web browser. Ads won't be an issue anymore. Yeah, that's a kind of different thing. This is not about ads coming up on my web browser. This is about ads in my YouTube videos. And for many years, for about 5 or 6 years, I've been absolutely happy to be part of the YouTube partnership program, and that means that they pay me to put ads in my videos. And I was happy for them to do that. I was happy with the ad revenue I got until they decided they were going to take 30% of that away. And I was just like, not sure this is very fair. So it's not really to do with ads in general. It's I don't have a problem with ads being played on, mid-roll, post-roll, pre-roll of any of my videos. Don't have an issue with that. YouTube can do what it likes with regard to that. But if they're going to say, if they're going to say to YouTube creators, we will pay you to have these ads on your videos, that's great. That's lovely. That's fine. But when they decide 5-6 years down the line to then say, but you're going to have to pay 30% back to us, that's when I didn't really like it. So anyway, that's that. That's the end of that subject. Let's see. Thank you, Kyle. £5 via PayPal. You are awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. That's very kind. Dooley Still is here as well. He says, hello all. I did not see you come in. I apologize. I should have read a little bit more carefully. Let's see. Secret Squirrel says, thank you for your incredible contributions. Secret Squirrel, you are welcome. It is a pleasure to serve. I love doing this show. And that's the reason why I do it. I do it because I love it. And it's just another way for me to be able to engage with Presonus customers, not as a Presonus employee. I'm doing this. I mean, I know that the guys at Presonus, my employers, I know that they appreciate that I do this. And they think that what I do here is very valuable. It is. It's very valuable to the company because you guys ask great questions and I get to answer them. And sometimes I get to escalate things back to QA and, you know, departments within the company. But for the most part, you know, this is just me serving you guys. And because I love doing it. To be honest, let's see. Bob Studio says, regarding what you say, thanks for doing this stuff. You're welcome. It's, like I said, it's a pleasure to serve. I love doing this show. It's awesome. Peace Valley Audio says, I totally understand what you're talking about. I used to make videos. Yes, I never got to the level to be able to monetize them, however. Yeah, you have to be... you have to have more than 1,000 subscribers, and then you have to have, I think it's 4,000 watch hours per annum, and there's like a way that they calculate that out, of how many views you get, and then you're eligible to apply to join the YouTube partner program, which is what I did ages ago. Chris from Deer Creek Audio says, has Fender made any announcement that you know of? I think I've seen, it was just a quick post on Presonus forum. At any rate, I like my tweet going on. Oh right, okay. The only announcement that has been made is the official one, and that's pretty much it. If you're on Facebook and you're a member of the Presonus Studio 1 group, the pinned post explains the whole thing. But there is also a press release that should have been sent out to all Presonus customers, so check your email for that. And there's a blog post as well. And there's lots of other places which have carried the story of Presonus's purchase, other way around, Fender's purchase of Presonus, and that's pretty much it at the moment. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, once there is something to say, some more details about it, those will be announced in due course. And that's pretty much all I'm allowed to say about it. Just Bob says, I posted a link of the Moore pedal above. It's a demo. It might fit your needs. Sounds good to me. I will check that out. I'll check that out. John Lake says, I'm here, but you see nothing. What? Well, I just saw that, John Lake. So, if you have a question, John, get it in the chat, dude, because I am actually seeing your posts. But, like was said earlier, stick the @Jonny Lipsham Studios in front of your post so that I get the nice red letters, and then I know that you're asking a question to me and you're not just generally engaging in chat with the other folks, which is fine. Absolutely happy for everybody to chat. Deer Creek says 4,000 hours a year and 1,000 subs to monetize. Once you reach it, you can dip under the qualifications if you might do that. Yes, that is correct. Just Bob says to Mike at Peace Valley Audio, he says, you post really good videos. I enjoyed them. Yes, absolutely. Mike's videos are really good. I absolutely recommend you go check them out, because he has posted some really, really interesting stuff that I haven't covered. I know that much. So let's see. Alps Media is here. Says, back in California, looking forward to our next meeting. Awesome. John Hawk says, I cannot make money on YouTube even if I wanted to. I never made very much. I'll level with you all. I think I maybe made $100 a month. Tops. I would say maximum amount is probably $100 per month. But some months it would be less than that. Some months it would be more. It kind of depended upon things like how many ads ran, and because the advertisers, they bid for slots on certain videos, and they obviously want to go for channels that have a lot of views, because they're going to make more money and they're going to attract more people to their products if their products or their brand is exposed by a lot of views. So if you have millions of subscribers and you have millions of views, then you're going to get the big name advertisers, and so you'll make big money that way. But if you only have like 6,000 subscribers or 4,651 like I have right now, then yeah, you don't make very much from the ads. And that's where the super chats were actually handy. They were a good thing. They kind of gave me a little bit of a boost. And certainly, 3 or 4 years ago, the money I got from YouTube was really, really helpful. It would actually help pay for things. Nowadays, things have changed quite a bit in my personal circumstances, so it's not such a big deal, really. $100 a month isn't really a big thing anymore to me, whereas it used to be. So, things have changed. And Mike says they're no longer on YouTube. Yeah, Mike, I'd forgotten you'd taken them down. Chris says, I think the average is about $10 per 1,000 views as a rough average. If you have 100,000 views, you get about $1,000. Nice. See, yeah, so, when you think of it like that, it works out pretty well. Just Bob says, can you do a demo on taking MIDI chords like D and G and show how to copy them, break them into individual notes using a different instrument to create melodies? That's a good one. I suppose the quick way would be to create something in the chord track and then drag that to an instrument, and then do something like explode pitches to tracks or something like that, and then change the instruments. That would be, to me, probably the quickest way to do it. So if I got the chord track out on this song here, let's go to instruments, let's get that ready. And let's go grab, for example, if we wanted to do something with a horn section. So let's go grab Presonus, let's get that in there. And let's say for now, we go with brass, and we go with trumpets. And we'll go with which one? Let's go with trumpet full, and we'll use this key switch here to give us a little bit more realism. Anyway, you didn't hear me play that. Let's turn off those, make them nice and dry. All right, so let's go and stick in some chords in here. So let's just click in 3 or 4 of these. There we go. Right, now let's change some of these. Let's make this one F. And then let's make this one... let's see. Let's go for G7. Just because it's nice, and then we'll go back to C. And then what we can do is we can go doink, 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 and doink. And now we'll get 3 trumpets. Not quite a fanfare, but it'll do. Alrighty, so don't like the voicings particular, but it doesn't really matter too terribly much. Let's just Control B that anyway. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do, actually, at all. I wanted to do G. Let's do G. There we go. Merge that into one. Cool. All right, so what I want to do now is I probably want to explode this to pictures if I can remember how to do it. Been a long time since I've done this. Instrument parts. Explode pictures to tracks. Okay, here we go. And then I think what you would have to do, let's see, C, E, G, F, A, C. Oh, I see what it's done. B, D, F, and then back up to C, E, G. Okay, interesting. I wasn't quite expecting that. I have to admit, I wasn't quite expecting it to work quite like that. But there it is. So let's have a look at this. So here we have F, A, and C. And there's our G chord. And there's our C chord. All right, so we don't want it like that. So let's undo that. Because that's not what we want. Let's see if I can figure out a good way to do this. There must be an easier way to do this than what I am doing. And I just can't think of what that is right now. But I could just take this note here, this note here, and this note here, and this note here, and do Control Copy. Grab another one of these. Let's make this one. Let's see. Winds. Here we go. Alto sax full. And then I can double click this, stretch that out. And then I can double click that. Where's the paste button? I don't know. Control V. And they're all slightly in the wrong place, but that's okay. And it looks like only 3 of them came across. Where's the other one? Okay, there it is. Okay. And then let's go back to this part here, and then we'll do the second note down, which will keep as trumpet actually. So we'll make this one the low note. We'll make this tenor sax. So if I grab that one, and that one, I'll go copy those, close that, grab another one of these. We'll make this trombone instead. Trombone full. And we'll go double click that, extend that out that way, open up that, make sure that's back at 0 because that's the mistake I made before. Are we missing a note? Yeah, we are. That's weird. All right, let's have a listen to that. If I mute that, All right, so I think you catch the drift there. That is definitely one way to do it. I'm sure there's a faster way, but it would take some time for me to figure that out. So there you go. So that's how you do that. Let's see. Chris says, I can't find anywhere on the internet about Windows 11 compatibility on plugins. I posted in the forums, kind of got a non-answer, but I know Studio One is compatible. Not as sure about others. When it comes to third-party plugins, you will have to seek out the third-party plugins that matter to you the most and go to their websites, and you'll have to see what their statements are. Some will be, some might not be. But as far as Presonus is concerned, Studio One is 100% compatible with Windows 11, as is Notion, as is Capture, and there's also a list of hardware that is supported on Windows 11 and also a list of hardware that is not supported. And you can go find that in the general section of the knowledge base. So that's where you'll find the Windows 11 compatibility statement there from a Presonus perspective. Carl says, your insights on YouTube is just as valuable as music Studio One is. Well, yeah, we did get a little bit sidetracked there, but I'm glad you appreciate it. Chris says, I ask about compatibility because I'm looking at a new computer. Unless I buy Windows 10, most pre-builts are Windows 11 now. Yes, they are. So I would suggest that you do a little research. For example, if Slate Digital are the plugins that you use the most, I would go to the Slate Digital website and see what their compatibility statement with Windows 11 is. That's going to be your best solution. And those that don't have any statements, I'm sure they do, because Windows 11 is a big enough thing where they would have to put out a compatibility statement. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I can do a Google search and go Slate Digital Windows 11. Well, here we go. I have found something that will help you, Chris. Let's see. Perfect. Here we go. I'm going to go back over to the screen so you can see this, Chris. So, here is a list of manufacturers that support or do not support Windows 11 officially. So, Avid has no official support for Windows 11. Acoustica, fully supported. Antares, no official support. Bitwig, fully supported. Cherry Audio, fully supported. Motu, fully supported. Make Music, no support. Positive Grid, no support. Presonus, fully supported. Roland, no support. Serato, no support. Slate Digital, there's your answer right there. Not officially supported as yet. SSL, no official support. Source Audio, fully supported. Steinberg, no official support. Now, see, that surprises me. Steinberg, Cubase, Nuendo, that surprises me. Stephen Slate Audio, limited support. Slate Drums, limited support. Universal Audio, and Waves are fully supported with version 13 of their plugins. Version 12, not supported on Windows 11, which is a bit of a, yeah, as far as I'm concerned. And Chris has said, he says, I've seen that list, pretty slim. Yeah, I mean, that's your answer, Chris. You're gonna have to contact those companies and say, you know, what you're doing about Windows 11. Windows 11 hasn't actually been out for that long, and Windows 10 is still supported until 2025. So whilst you may find that a lot of new build computers are Windows 11 pre-installed, you might find that you might be able to get Windows 10 to run on it. So you are probably going to have to look into that let's see. Deer Creek says, Presonus seems unusually quiet about Windows 11. No forum discussions or issues that I'm hearing, but also just a lack of chatter at all on the subject. Well, like I said, we have issued a compatibility statement, which I can show you just now. Hang on just a minute. Go back over here. Let's see. Support. Knowledge base. General. So here we are in the knowledge base. Windows 11 compatibility with Presonus products. And there's your list there. Studio One 5.4.0 and above. Presonus Hub 1.4 and above. Notion 6.8.2. Presonus Sphere. Capture 3.1. Works Control. And SL, which is the Studio Live Room Control. Version 1 and above. And then it says here, check your third-party plugin developers' websites for updates, as many of them may not install or run correctly under Windows 11 and will need updates themselves to work correctly. And then here is the list of supported Presonus hardware. Universal Control 3.6.0 already supports Windows 11 and can be obtained from the download page for each product from your My Presonus account. Studio Live Series 3, AVB, NSB, IMIX, SW5E, AR22, 16C, 12C, 8C, AudioBox USB, USB 96, and the 25th anniversary version, USB Studios, all of them, USB Studio Ultimate, i1s and i2s, i2 Studio, 1818 VSL. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that that's supported on Windows 11 because that's an elderly device. Please note VSL software is discontinued. That was discontinued years ago, but there you go. So yeah. And then the Studio Series interfaces, IO Station, Quantum Series, fader ports. Please note, actually, look at the fader port one. Fader port 16, fader port 8, and the black 2018 fader ports. The classic one is not supported in Windows 11. And down below here, there's a whole section here on the fader port classic. So if you have the silver classic fader port, the old one, I used to have one, it will not work because the USB I/O is too old. So that is just it. However, it says here, FaderPort Classic will still be able to be used with Windows 11 as it is a class-compliant MIDI device. So check that out if that affects you, is what I would say here. Let's see. You'd think TuneTrack would be supported. Waves doesn't offer version 13 yet on many plugs. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of up to them. Secret Squirrel says Windows 11 is also pretty buggy for a lot of folks. I don't roll out a new OS until absolutely necessary to support the majority of my software, but that is only me. By and largely, I 100% agree with you on there. And that is, generally speaking, the advice I give, is do not update to Windows 11 until, you know, it's absolutely necessary for you to do so, or there is a very solid, stable release. Because usually the 0.0 release, which is the initial release of an OS like Windows 11, yeah, there are going to be some bugs. It's like the 0.0 release of any software. There's going to be bugs because there's going to be issues because you can't test every possible conceivable scenario for every possible conceivable system setup and hardware configuration. You can't test it all. So there are going to be some issues that you'll encounter. However, when those issues get reported, they can get fixed, and then, maintenance releases will go out. And, generally speaking, I always say wait until at least 2 maintenance releases before you think about upgrading. And also, it's really important, as Chris is finding out, make sure that your third-party plugins that you use the most are supported on that platform. So on Windows 11, if you find the ones that you use the most are not supported, I would advise, if you can, if it is possible for you to do so, wait. Now, if you're in a position where you have a computer that is a Windows 10 computer and it's maybe in its last days of life, then that's a different story. You might want to try finding a way to kind of keep it going for as long as you possibly can before you start thinking about buying a new computer. Because if you're going to buy a new computer, chances are it's going to have Windows 11 pre-installed on it, and your plugins may well not work on Windows 11, and then you'll be up the creek without a paddle, and maybe even without a boat in some cases. So, kind of go carefully in what you do. Ironweed says, was the IO Station 24C on there for support? Yes, it was. We can scroll back up. There it is, IO Station 24C, all the quantums as well, all the Studio Series interfaces, so that includes the 1824 and the 1824C, which is what I have. So it's good to know that those work. Lowen says, I press skip ad. Okay. Thanks for that. Secret Squirrel says, we have the privilege of participating as beta testers for the poor, well-meaning, low-resource philanthropic endeavors of Microsoft. Okay. Thought we said we weren't going to get political on this show. So, yeah, we're not going to get political on this show. Please avoid doing so. Even if you're being witty, and you are being satirical and funny, and I appreciate that, but I don't want to find that this show gets into trouble for slandering manufacturers of products that I know that I use. So yeah, but I appreciate that. Chris says, yeah, I find it odd no one has offered an opinion running Windows 11 at this point with so many plugins. Windows 11 is new, but not a baby in a sense. Out 2 months plus. Yeah, it's still, it's only 2 months old. It's not, really isn't very old. I mean, take a version of Studio One. When a 0.0 version of Studio One, say 5.0, goes out, it's maybe, it's maybe a few weeks, maybe 5 or 6 weeks before we get the first maintenance release that goes out, that fixes a whole bunch of things that you guys have reported to us in support, and then we feed that all back, and then they make the fixes, and then they release the maintenance build. And so maybe it is 1, maybe 2, possibly maintenance builds before you're in a position where you can go, great, now I can upgrade. No, personally for me, I have to break my own rule, because my own rule has always been wait 2 maintenance releases before upgrading. But I now am in a position, because of what I do for a living, that I have to basically be as up to date as possible. So yeah. That said, I'm not on Windows 11 yet. I'm still on Windows 10. And that's okay, because we have, in support, we have Windows 11 computers. So it's fine. We also have Mac M1 computers as well, which I don't have. I have an Intel iMac over there. So, kind of is what it is. We do have, we have machines that we test on. So it's all good. Windows 11 and Mac, the latest Mac OS are all supported by support. It's fine. But it is just, about me. I have to break my own rule. Hoping someone here runs Windows 11 at this point. If anybody in the chat is running Windows 11, please do say so, and please do engage with Chris. I'm sure he would appreciate the help. Like I said, I'm not currently running it. Support for Windows 10 officially, I believe, runs out in 2025. So we got like 4 years before we're really seriously in a position where, we have to. The computer I had before this one was Windows 7 until 2020. When did Windows 7 come out? 2015, right? So I waited 5 years before I upgraded. And in fact, all I did then was I just went, you know what, this computer is getting pretty ancient now. I think I will just buy a new computer, which will be pre-installed with Windows 10. By that point, Windows 10 is gloriously well supported by pretty much everybody. Not a problem. So, you know, if you can keep your computer going as long as possible, Chris, I would try and do that. And try and hang tough on Windows 10. Because, like I said, it's going to be fully supported for the next 4 years. So you're in a good place, to be honest. Any other questions? Have we got any Studio One questions? Because I think we got just one Studio One question that we did there. It's actually quite good. That was actually a good question about you know, kind of doing something with chord track and then wanting to explode that across a horn section or something like that. That's a good one. Adler Lake is a Screamer CPU. Yeah, heard that much. But runs much better on Windows 11 plus jumps into DDR5 RAM and PCI 5 slots, etc. Yes, it probably does. My computer is limping. Well, yeah, it's probably limping only in comparison to what you've just laid out. Compared to most other people's computers, your computer probably is not limping. Just compared to the Adler Lake CPU that you're describing, and the DDR5 RAM and the PCI 5 slots that you mention, yeah, all of that is going to be the latest and greatest tech, and it's going to be freaking awesome. It always is. The latest, greatest technology is always freaking awesome. It is. Super fast. You know, and so comparatively, the current machine that you have, comparatively, is limping. But does it work? Is it stable? Is it solid? Or is it a crashing? Is it, like a crash test dummy? It's always crashing. If it works, keep it working. That's what I did with my old computer until really it started forgetting things. That's when I got a new computer, was when my old one started forgetting things. It had computer dementia, I guess. You jazzers can get by with a notepad. Oh, Chris. That's disgraceful talk. Actually, if you're doing jazz music in Studio One and you're mixing jazz music in Studio One, you use a lot more analog style plugins. Trust me. Because most of the music that I make, well, I mostly do kind of contemporary jazz, fusion, and more sort of the avant-garde kind of jazz. That's kind of where I live, musically. But, if I was to kind of do, neo-bop, which would be kind of like contemporary bebop of the 1940s, then yes, I'd be using a lot more, 1950s style plugins, because I want to go for that kind of retro sound. And yes, and that would use up a lot more CPU, because those kind of plugins are a little bit more heavy lifting. So there it is, and we've reached the end of the show. So thank you everybody for coming, and I don't think we had a massive crowd, but that's okay. I don't mind. Let's see, we peaked at 24, 25, so that's kind of roundabout our average at the moment, is about 25 people. It'd be great if we could expand that to over, I think our record is 36. So it'd be great if we could kind of get to 36 and then regularly have 36. So if you folks know people for whom you think my show would be beneficial, would help them, and would educate them, then please do give them the link to the channel, get them subscribed, get them clicking the notification bell. And also, if you're new to the show and you haven't done that yet, or even if you've been around a while and you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. please hit that notification bell. And if, you know, you think that what I do is of value to you and helps you and educates you and motivates you, there, just invented a new word, then please do hit my PayPal. I would appreciate it. That'd be excellent. So until then, let's see. I'll take one last question because Peter Brooks is here. Where did you get those jazz brush loops from? I got those from Loop Loft, actually. I think maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, Loop Loft did a, I'm not going to say giveaway, but it was almost a giveaway because the discount was that ridiculous. They gave their Platinum Drums bundle away for, I think, 90% off or something like that. And so it was supposed to be like $1,500 worth of loops for drums. And I picked it up for, I think, $100, $150. Not a whole lot more than that. I think it was about that much. And so I thought, that is a freaking steal. What are they thinking? But so that's where those came from. They came from Loop Loft. You can probably still get them, I would imagine. Whether you can get them at that price, I'm not entirely sure. But they are freaking cool loops. And I love actually using them for practice, by the way. And getting me in that kind of dinner jazz kind of mood. When that kind of mood inclines me. Loop Loft. Looploft.com. Let's see. I wonder, actually, if that bundle is still available. Loop Loft Platinum Pack. Is it still available? Let's see. Oh, yes. Yes. I have to show you this, guys, before we go. Helps if I press the right button. There we go. Here it is. And they're still selling it at an obscene low price. Look at that. Supposed to be £1,163. And they're selling it for $74, which is probably about $100. And that's probably about $1,500, I would think. And so, as you can see here, compatible with Studio One and all other DAWs, with over 8 million kilobytes, which is 8.8 gigabytes to be exact. A drum loops in our library Platinum Pack is bundle collection featuring 40 of the Loop Loft's most popular loop and sample collections, with everything from bebop brush grooves, which is what we were talking about, to flip break beats, North India frame drums, polished pop beats, lo-fi hip hop, and so on and so forth. And this is what you get. Yada brushes, blues, dry drums, odd meter grooves, jazz, world drums, world drum loops, everything but sticks, cinematic drums. Yeah, you name it, you get all of this. And they're all 100% royalty free, instant download. Go get it, is what I would recommend. So, yes, to answer Bob's question, 100% royalty free. So there you go. Hope that answers that question. So just go to looploft.com/product/the-platinum-pack and it is there. And these are epic. I use these myself, and a number of my songs have used these. Not the one that you heard tonight. The one that you heard tonight, which is Belonging to Tomorrow from my 2016 EP of that title, drums were played by me on a very, very, very nice Ludwig, what year was it? 1964, I think it was. Beautiful drum set with Zildjian K custom cymbals. And it was a gorgeous drum set. And we mic'd it with kick drum and 2 overheads. And it was just beautiful. Loved playing that drum set. It's the only song that I played drums on that record, though. I had another drummer play on all the others. But there you go. So I hope that has helped. And as I was saying, thanks for coming. And I'll see you on Wednesday over on the Home Studio Trainer channel for Songwriting Simplified with me and Jonny Gibe. And it is strictly songwriting and it is strictly Studio One in that context. So we'll look at music theory, we'll look at arranging, we'll look at composing, we'll look at melody writing, we'll look at harmony writing, we'll look at all of that stuff broadly, and then you guys can ask your questions kind of based on all of those kind of songwriting subjects, if you will. All right, folks, I bid you a very good night. Good night. And my music's not playing. Why is that? Here we go. Another grace flashes on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel, roll of the dice, or ace on the turn. You beg, borrow, or steal, or trade your soul for bands to burn. In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill. It can steal your life and dominate your goals. Make a trouble and strife, seek another soul. This little paper deity. Plastic, blow it all on hot girls and wheels. Let's do something drastic. In the morning we'll never feel. Where were you on Black Wednesday? Stood for hours outside the Northern Rock. Still hungover from Tuesday. Must we take this banker's cross? In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill. It can steal your life